This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by IBF flyweight world champion Sonny Edwards out here in Florida. Sonny, pleasure to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Andy, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a minute since I last saw you, a minute since we last did an interview, and now we get to do it ahead of the biggest fight of your career so far, unification fight with Bam Rodriguez. You just came face to face for the first time, Sonny. What did you make of looking into his eyes, looking into his soul?
Yeah, Rob Tebbett said only to do interviews with him or something. He said like, not to bother replying to you and that, so...
Is that why I haven't been hearing back from you?
Yeah. Now, don't take it personally. I don't reply to, like, people I'm in conversations with, so I'm just quite bad sometimes, ADHD. But, no, it's good to see. I don't really do Zoom, you know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of Zoom.
I've only asked to come and see you in person.
Yeah, you can come to the gym, you know where it is. You know where you train, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, just had your face off there with Bam. What did you make of it?
Very reserved. Tried prodding a little bit, but he weren't really trying to give nothing. Yeah, like it's not his bag to sort of go back and forth, but that's fine. I feel like I didn't feel no real aura of confidence about him. I didn't feel not much, to be honest. I don't know. I looked in his eyes. I thought he was smaller than I expected. Yeah, and he looked away quite quick, and he wasn't really, engaging with me. I've had fighters that have come and they've been smiling at me every time they see me, and really want to get some of me. I'm really confident about them doing it as well, and I don't know. I didn't really feel that from him, but like I said, I know he's not that character anyway, so you know what I mean.
He's not known for his talking, but is it a surprise to you, given what's at stake, given it's the biggest fight of his career so far, that maybe he hasn't been a little bit more vocal?
Or maybe he just doesn't want to put the pressure on himself. Maybe he doesn't want to, get the stakes up where he don't think he can cash in. I think I can talk quite confidently about it because I genuinely believe I'm going to win. I'm excited about the fight. I'm not trying to get into his head or anything, but every day I wake up, someone's asking me about it, or when are you fighting next, etc. So every day I'm thinking about it. We're 13 weeks out, we've got way time, and I'm way fit, I'm way in shape, I'm way ahead of schedule, I'm in a really good place, better than I've ever been, and I can really calculate it and do everything properly. But yeah, it is what it is. If he don't want to build the fight, if he doesn't want to promote it, if I was sat there as a promoter, I know who I'd be wanting to come through the fight. At the end of the day, like, you want the fight to sell, you want people to, go out their way to try, and, it might just be a bit disappointing for the people that are paying both me and him, upwards of $500,000, $500,000, you know what I mean, over that. Like, it must be quite frustrating, that investment, to not really be seeing no effort of, build up. You'd think, you know what I mean, when there's that much stake on the table, you play your part. But if it's not you, it's not you. Like, I'm not coming here, I'm not trying to be brash, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, because it's not really my way. Like, I can be the bad guy if that's what everyone wants. Like, I can turn it into a whole fucking pantomime show, and what? So we can just sit there and roll his eyes. There's no point. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get no reaction out of him. So, yeah, kind of expected. I thought maybe a little bit more energy, a little bit more enthusiasm, maybe a few more words, but yeah, I don't think he really wanted to be here. 2 times he was meant to come to London. He was meant to be there for my campus fight to announce it after. He didn't. He was meant to be there in London on the AJ Fight Week to come and announce the fight. He didn't. Yeah, we've had to come here. Now he's coming to London next week, and he's probably going to be quiet there as well. But look, it is what it is. I don't care. You know what I mean?
One thing you mentioned on stage was the age of Bam Rodriguez. Now, obviously, we all know how talented of a fighter he is, but that level of maturity, do you feel like that will play a big part of the fact that he's still very much so at a younger stage and an earlier stage in his career as opposed to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's not miles apart. If anything, I've said before that Bam is probably the closest thing I see to an American Sonny Edwards, as there probably is. He's the younger brother of a world champion. He's probably not as good as the younger brother, you know what I mean? Career fighters, been fighting since young, been in pro gym since young, probably been doing long rounds since young. Similar, same. Like, so I'd be stupid to just think, oh, like, it's going to be easy, or it's going to be, like, because he is very similar from my upbringing, and I know the benefits that I've had from having an older brother, doing everything first, the lessons you've learned, the sparring, you're a couple of years behind, but you're closing the gap as you're pushing, and so I get it. So I get why he's a good fighter. It all makes perfect sense to me. but I just think I'm better. And I feel like his age, 23, he won't be as physically strong or as good as he will be at 27 or 30 even. I think even like 32s, 33s, as long as you're doing it right and you're always improving and you're not losing too much of yourself every time you get in the ring and you're not completely blowing up or completely just falling off the rails every single time you fight, you get better. You get better, you get more comfortable in a boxing ring, you know what works, you've seen more things, you've had to overcome more things, you've had more, box ticked, more times you've had a cut, you've had this, you've had an injury, you've had that, and you've got through it. A 23-year-old that kind of jumped out and burst onto the limelight facing two old fighters that just stood in front of him, and yeah, he did very well, but yeah, okay, he showed that he can do that twice. Then he had people that for me were like C-B level fighters who were decent operators, but they weren't like top level back foot boxers. Good, but I feel like he struggled twice. I feel like he genuinely struggled twice, and lost rounds and was getting frustrated. And the cards might have even been more favourable to him than maybe they even needed to be. 118s, 118s, 110s, and 116s, 112s when they could have been 115, 113s, etc. But I still think he's won all his fights. Still think he's a great fighter. I just feel like it's easy to just look at those two fights and who they was against and get absolutely, carried away, when the reality of my career is no matter who I'm in against, it looks the same. Where he gets in the ring and it looks different a couple of times.
So when people look at this fight, they obviously talk about the contrasting styles. We've seen you more recently maybe sit in the pocket a little bit more and allowing your opponents to let their hands go. It hasn't brought them much success, but you've allowed it to happen. Will you allow that to be the case with Bam Rodriguez, or will you be maybe a bit more kind of smart with the way that you box, being a bit more on that slick skill set that we're used to seeing because of the talent that Bam Rodriguez possesses?
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I enjoy fighting. I feel like you come down to see me spar before. I'm sure you have. I like having a fight. I don't like getting in the ring and just having a box. I do that because it's, the most comfortable and clearest way to win all the time. Don't let them hit you and keep hitting them, and then all of a sudden 12 rounds are in the bag. But I like having a fight. I like sitting there and mixing it. Who knows how this fight goes down? The one thing I will say, though, is not one fighter in sparring, not one fighter in a fight has ever made me stay there. They've never pinned me down. It's not that I can't get out the corner. It's not, oh, Sonny's just taking a barrage of attacks and can't get away. No matter what shots landed, I can always get away for the next one. I'm always in control of where I'm in the ring, the position they've started the attack, where I am, my instant reaction when they've started coming in that direction, where I put my feet, etc. It's all calculated at a level that I couldn't even fathom because it's all muscle memory because I've been doing it for so long. I was doing 12-round spars against 5, 6 different kids in amateur gyms when I'm 12 years old, 13 years old. All comers, weights 10 kilos above me, and I always have been my whole life. I never turned down a spar, I never turned down rounds, I always asked for extra rounds. I'm a menace, I'm an alien, I'm out of saying that people haven't seen before. When they're really involved, when they're really around and they see how my day goes, when I wake up, what I do, when I go to the gym, I come home, might go out on a night out, might have no sleep. I'll still be in the gym and I'll be the best in the gym the next day. I'll probably be better than the night I had a full night's sleep. I'm an enigma. Things that I do don't make sense. The fact that I can just keep going and going and going and never get tired. Because I don't start looking at my body and thinking it's about to give up. I just keep my mind strong. 12 rounds, 36 minutes, that's fucking walk in the park. If anything, I'd prefer this fight to be 15 rounds. Actually, in London, I might try and ask. Because I would easily fight this. If we can do 12-minute free rounds for female fighters now, why can't men go back to 15 frees if they so want to?
How do you see December 16th playing out?
Sonny Edwards win. And the new and still, and I don't even know how they say it. It'll be and the new, innit? And the new WBO and still the IBF should be the ring. But yeah, I'll win.
What is the crack with Ring Magazine, do you mind me asking?
I don't know. Maybe best to ask Eddie. I was meant to say something in the presser, but it got wrapped up before I had a chance. I think it's disgusting that it's not really. Well, if you ask 100 people right now to list the top 4 flyweights of who they think by merit, accomplishment, and who the best fighter is, out of those 100 people, 97 of them probably put me or Bam as number 1 and number 2. And then Martinez for number 3 and Dalekay number 4. So why the Ring have got Martinez as number 2 and Dalekay at number 3 and Bam at number 4, who I think is better than them and willing to make the fight. Nothing else. He showed willingness to make the fight. He's a 2-weight world champion. The other ones, I'm not. You know what I mean? And probably he's got up there with the biggest marketable, visible wins of a lot of us. So why? I don't know. I beat the Ring Magazine number 1. It made me number 2. I was a year number 2 until Martinez fucked around and found out, and I became number 1 since then. Now he's number 2. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, I think Bam should be it. Hopefully they because the ring put out something on their own back. No conversation, no appeal or trying to. They put something out that we're gonna sit down and have a conversation whether this fight's for the Ring magazine. So hopefully that conversation is still happening. Hopefully it's just so far and they haven't made the decision yet. And hopefully it is, because I genuinely think it is the number one and number two. However you want to do it, I genuinely think I'm the number one. I think I've been at flyweight for longer, but I feel like he's definitely number two. The hardest fight out there, on paper, off paper, in the ring, out the ring. The biggest fight, marketability-wise, etc. So why is it not for the Ring magazine? I don't know. It should be. Hopefully it is. And maybe that Ring magazine will then make the undisputed of the rest hurry up. Maybe. Who knows?
Just to kind of loop back to the fight, one final thing on it, because I swiftly moved on to the Ring magazine talk there. And yeah, how do you see December 16th going?
Yeah, me win. I told you that. How? I don't know. Like, first round knockout.
Do you have any concerns away fighter travelling over?
No, it's not in my. It's out of my. It's out of my pay bracket. It's out of my jurisdiction to even bother or care about any of that. Look, I will have 36 minutes to put in my input, my body of work, and then it's up to three people's opinions to decide whether I'm the winner or not. Whether they give it to me or not, that's one thing. You know, maybe I'm away, maybe all of this. I don't think or look into that. Like, I just want a fair fight. If I am the loser, I want to be the loser. If I am the winner, I want to be the winner. That's it. I don't want to cheat a win to the thing. I don't want to get cheated out of one. I just want it to be fair. And I can't lie. I think I'll be all right. Do you know what I mean? I think it's. It doesn't really matter if I'm away. It doesn't really matter. If I win that round clear, it's hard to score it against me. You know what I mean?
You mentioned on stage that you have your hand raised, you're successful December 16th, Chocolatito's the man next in your eyes. What's the situation there? Why have you taken somewhat of a disliking to him?
Nah, he's a legend. Let's get that straight. It's no dislike. He is, you know, what's that famous cliche, cringy saying? Work till your idols become your rivals. Now, he's someone I've spent my whole life watching and looking up to and being in the biggest fights of my weight. And you say there's now a chance where he's mentioning me on Twitter and, oh, I can just beat his little mate that he wouldn't box and then fight him. We'll line them two up next. What do you mean? He's the Canelo of the flyweights, the super flyweights. Who do you want me to fight? Like, is it disrespect me wanting to fight him? It should be the greatest honour. Like, and he said, bam, it's going to be an easy win. I was disrespected by that because I've never got in a ring and anyone's found it easy. I mean, I beat Alvarado, who's his, like, sparring partner or something. Beat him, gone, easy, bye. Rosales I would have had, but he pulled out of the Alvarado fight, even though he was about to get offered, and he couldn't fight for the IBF, and I would have beat him as well. So I had two Nicaraguans. My brother beat him, so I definitely would have beat him. Yeah. And then I would have came for Gonzalez anyway. I was kind of trying to play the Nicaraguan card and go down that route to get the big fight anyway. But with him being a legend, with his body of work being so impressive, I never wanted to be disrespectfully calling him out. But once he started saying that Sonny's easy work, I will show you that I'm not. Like, just because I'm only 27 or I've only done, like, yeah, right. If you want to just quickly have like a little glimpse of, easy work, and it might not have been him that wrote it, to be honest, let's be real. It probably wasn't even him. But that's the fight I want because it is the biggest fight. It's the £1 million fight. It's the fight that might never come again in my lifetime at these weights. And he's there right here now. He's fought British fighters. He's fought all around the world. He's the biggest, like, small name in America anyway. So why wouldn't I want that fight? Like, beat Bam. Martinez and Dalton have been impossible. Why would I even think an undisputed route is even possible?
I was going to say, do you think that just looks completely unlikely now beyond you and Bam fighting?
I'm not mentioning them. I'm not calling them out. I'm not going to Eddie make that fight. We've had all them conversations, and it's come back. They're not fighting you, Sonny. Like, what do you want me to do? Just, I want to be undisputed, but I'm just going to keep fighting voluntaries because no one will fight me. And then I'm going to have my WBO voluntary and my IBF mandatory. Sorry, not voluntary, mandatory. So what's the point of that? You know what I mean? I will just go for the big fights. I beat Bam, I'm in there now. I want the belts, and I always want there to be, like, world honours attached to it. But I'll be going up and down weights, left and right, sideways, just to get the big fights, the events that people care about. Like, you know, it could be for no belts, but this event would be worth more than fighting for 2 belts. It's something that no one cared about. Do you know what I mean?
Sonny, one of your other talking points, which has certainly raised the smile over social media, is the little side bet you have with Claressa Shields for this fight. Have you exchanged DMs with her? Have you said to her, like, listen, we're going out, this happens if you beat Bam?
I mean, a gentleman never kisses and tells, you know what I mean? So where that is, I'll just, you know what I mean? All I know is that she said she's a woman of her word. She said I wouldn't beat Bam. I said, if I do, can I take you out? She said, you ain't got no chance. I asked, what, taking you out or beating Bam? She just laughed. A month later, she put out 2-3 interviews that, okay, Sonny, I thought about it. If you want to fly me out somewhere or yada yada, if you beat Bam, you can do it. As long as I cover it, which is fine because that's how it goes with me anyway. But yeah, me and Claressa. You know what I mean?
Is she attending on fight night?
I hope so. I've got 2 seats next to Eddie Ham for her. Just so she's nice and close when I go, you know what I mean? Come in now. You hold this one. You know what I mean? It's too heavy. Like, you hold this one. Like, but you know what it is? I'm cheeky, innit? And I like what I like, so.
Sonny, obviously, I hope that goes well for you as well. Just a couple of things before we wrap this up. But I just want to get your thoughts on the offer that was made for Dalton to face Adam Azim. And obviously, that fight's not going to be happening next as Dalton's campmate. If we ever did see that, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a great fight. I think it's one that will probably get built up for a while. I think they're both now challenging each other for things that they want for the first time. I feel like Adam Azim getting the European title shot probably made it, okay then, right, we'll fight you then. Like, I think that, I actually don't know this for 100% sure, but looking at it, it looks like that, you know, Dalton was heading the European route. Sky got in, made the fight, so yeah, I think that might be it. I'm not sure, but also it's a fight that I know Dalton has always been confident and wanted. You know, it's been Adam has been below, coming up in a good trajectory nonetheless, and looked good doing it. But it's always been, you know, Dalton's been a bit ahead. So if Dalton's calling him out, what does it look like? But obviously now he's going for the European title. Well, now they're in the same sort of bracket of what they're fighting for and where they're fighting and the rounds they're fighting and opponents they want to fight. So why not? I mean, it can happen. It could be like me and Bam, where it happens a few times. I think what I think me and Bam will happen, where it happens a few times. We fight each other early. We could both be sat in here now going, oh no, I want to go fight him and him and him, and just doing like what all these other champions do. Instead, we're here. Everyone's getting excited about the event. I'm getting excited for the fight, and we both got a chance to really like push on. And then the other one, I'll be able to come back. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's an elite fight. It's probably number one. It probably is number two. What is the fall off for that? For me, there is no losing situation. It's a great fight. It's going to be a great event, a great night. Hopefully a good undercard as well, and hopefully get as many people in the Desert Diamond Arena as possible.
Sonny, as someone who's been vocal about PEDs in boxing, obviously a big talking point this week has been Conor Benn's return. I just want to get your thoughts on his return and everything surrounding it.
You know what? I've actually spoke to him today, a couple of times actually. And what I was saying, like, because obviously I was vocal, right? As I was saying to him earlier, and people was out there going, oh, you said... I will comment on everything that happens around me because I am very much involved. And when it is something that is like a personal gripe to me, you know, I'm a clean athlete. I know I have to jump through hoops to make sure I'm a clean athlete. I have to do on 24/7 testing. Every day I have to tell them where I'm waking up, like where I'm sleeping, an hour time slot of where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be there, where it's going to be. Like, and if I miss that, then it's a strike on my record. 3 of those I'm banned as if I failed a drugs test in 1 year. And it's like, and I'll be banned for 2 years. So there's obviously gripes, but right now it's in a thing where he's not been banned, whether it's loophole or whatever. I don't know all the ins and outs. The fact is, though, he's probably spent more time out of a boxing ring than most of the famous cases of people that I know once they've been banned and served their ban and they're banned. You know, when we look at Canelo's getting 6 months and then 3-4 fighters failing for the same performance enhancing drug and getting slaps on the wrist, and then Oscar Valdez failing a drugs test and becoming a WBC clean boxing ambassador and fighting, and Robin coming to see out a month later. Like, he's been out of the ring for like 14, 15, 16 months, whatever the fuck it is. Like, he's served enough time for a ban for me. If he's not banned and he's got a license, then it can annoy you. You can think, oh, he don't deserve it, but it is what it is. He thinks he's innocent. He claims he's innocent. I'm not God. I'm not a judge, jury, and executioner. Whether I believe him or not is one thing and completely immaterial. If he can get a license, if he can fight somewhere, and the promoter's willing to put him on and the promoter's willing to pay him, then who am I? Do I think it's right? Is that someone who may have failed a drug test gets in the ring at a certain time? Who knows? I know there's people that really have and box the same month and got upgraded in their position in boxing, becoming a WBC clean boxing ambassador after failing a drugs test. So what's the difference? He's been out the ring. He's lost that big fight the first time round. When is the end? You know what I mean? He's served time out. Like, and now that it's funny that people think, oh, it's only because you're signed with Eddie now that you're being friendly with Conor. Like, no. I was way with Eddie and I had fought with Eddie and I was still talking about this. It's just that after a while, time elapses And what? Just because of that, he can never fight again. I think that's wrong. You know what I mean? Even if he did do it and he made the mistake and you served your ban, I don't think you should never be able to fight again. I think that's wrong. Council, I think that's wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's not up to me. He's fighting now, and there's probably going to be, you know, in play for a massive fight. It's obvious kind of what that is, what they're trying to make. So I don't know. I think British boxing kind of needs it, to be honest, if I'm perfectly honest. And I think if he does fight Chris Eubank Jr., not only will be the massive heavily favourite, he's the clean athlete, he's the heavier fighter, and he's probably the better fighter. So do I care about him getting into that? Not really. You know what I mean? If anything, a juiced up to the gills Conor Benn and a Chris Eubank right now would probably be quite a good fight. You know what I mean? But allegedly, I don't know the truth. I'm not in their camp. I'm not him. You know what I mean? I've said in all of the interviews when speaking about him and whether I believed him or not. Before I spoke to him, I really didn't believe him. I'm not sure if I do now. He does speak with conviction. He speaks with honesty. He speaks with passion. But you are going to. So, but it's not for me to say. Like, who cares what I think? But like I said, something's gonna have to give. He's not been banned. He can fight. He can get a license. So morally, maybe no. Maybe this is Roxo, his opponent. Maybe it's bad for him. But I guarantee if we go and ask him if he wants to fight Conor Benn on Saturday, he'll tell you yes. You know what I mean? Because he's probably earning more money than he's ever earned in his life before. So what do you want me to do about it? It's not my decision. I'm not fighting him. I'm not managing the fight it is. I'm not his manager or his promoter. Whether I think it's right or wrong, one thing I do know is boxing needs and loves drama. And as we've seen, this negative story of the last 8 months or however long it's been has completely encapsulated both boxing media and media. So
Final one, Sonny, just because it's taking place in Sheffield, we obviously set up camp, Lee with Josh Warrington. Just your thoughts on that fight, please.
Great fight, and I like both of them. I'm actually friends with both of them. Josh, you can never write off, I think. Before he even made it, everyone was trying to write him off every fight, Lee Selby's, Carl Frampton's, and he kept showing it, you can't write him off. I feel like Lee Wood probably goes in this as the more fresher, more favourable, but at the same time, you know, Josh Warrington just come back and got his wins, so... And that Lopez is a very good fighter who beat Warrington. So, you know what I mean? Who knows until we get in there. But I think one thing that Lee's very good at is getting to the edge of range and find long levers, powerful. But at the same time, I think he gets to round 7, 8 in a hard fight, and I think he's quite spent. And Josh keeps going and going. He's rough and he's rugged, and there's probably be cuts and elbows flying in. And I think it'll be a good fight, and I think there'll be a great atmosphere. I hate to say it because I like them both. I'd probably lean towards Lee Wood more on the last few performances, but like I said, you can never write Josh Warrington off, and if you could bottle heart and sell it, you'd make a killing off Josh, you know what I mean?
Right, Sonny, listen, I know I've taken a lot of your time. You've got more interviews yet to do before you're able to enjoy the rest of this weather, so thanks for speaking to me, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Go on.